it together, Whittington. Keep it together. Welcome to the Whiskey Vault. Believe it or not, the first episode we're shooting today, I haven't had any whiskey.
Yeah, and it's afternoon. It's not even morning whiskey.
Yeah.
This one is a gift from Charles Stella.
Charles Stella, you magnificent bastard!
Fight.
First, before we get in, I think it's critically important. Stella! Now.
Okay, I'm glad you got that out of your system.
Continue.
Okay, so this is a Japanese malt from the Kiriyoshi.
Like Japanese?
Well, okay, so
That's always a question when it comes to Japanese whiskey.
I know. Here's the thing, though. I think maybe.
Oh.
So one of my
So, for context, the reason why we're saying this is Japanese whiskey is a very popular category. With the regulations or lack thereof, it's often very, very hard to tell if they're actually making it in Japan or if they're sourcing it from usually Scotland.
and from the interwebs, this is one of those distilleries that has historically been deceptive.
Okay, well,
Now-
it's a
They are saying that this is Japanese whiskey, and it's part of a new trio of releases that have no age statement, which lends credence to the idea that they might be making their own, right? It's probably young. And this one is the one using cherry wood.
okay, interesting,
Yes.
unique. You're not able to do that in other countries that have that oak requirement.
Right, Ireland can do it.
Ireland can do it.
We could finish with it.
So jealous. And it's the reason why that obfuscation that you find in Japanese labels is kind of frustrating, is because the roots of their flavors are so often coming from Scotland. The original guy from back in the day, who was this?
Well, as Masataka Takasuru got trained in Scotland.
Yeah, it was
then worked at Springbank,
a
among other places.
pioneer
Yeah.
in the world of Japanese whiskey. So his heavy influence coming out of Scotland, and it shows up in their whiskeys, but it also shows up in the whiskeys that they just straight up source from Scotland.
So I'm kind of lost in this nose. I'm still getting that young malt musty note. It smells young,
So Speyside Highland Scotch is where we're living right now on the nose.
but it's a floral young.
Yes, everything you said, I agree with.
Honey, and then a super musty, slight funk.
I get like a honeysuckle
Yeah.
on that, right? That funk is almost like a plant. You're huffing the whiskey fumes. It's like that plant-based wildflower greenery with
that's the
sweeter
mustiness
notes.
I'm talking about. It's a green, earthy, musty note.
Yeah.
And not green pine, but like green, like plants, like a greenhouse.
Yeah, and the more I go back to this, the more that hothouse green note starts to become more and more present, and those sweeter notes starts to subside underneath that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. What's the proof? It can't be super high.
It is 48%.
Yeah,
That's
all
not astonishingly low either.
Yeah, I would have guessed like 40 to 45. It's a little higher than I thought.
Ah.
Ooh, actually, more potent and saturated explosion of sweetness on the palate there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is densely sweet.
Yeah, more
It
so
does
than you would believe by the nose.
Start with that funk.
Yeah.
And then immediately bursts into like the flowery sweetness.
An
Very
explosion.
like pear.
Aromatic, big, perfumey flowers, just really saturated and intense.
Wow.
The nose, it's a sleeper, right? On the nose, you're kind of like, it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go hunting for some flavors here. No, you don't.
No, that palate just.
And sweet is the name of the game, right? We're not talking about anything briny, smoky, meaty, none of that. This is sweet territory, floral, almost a sugary syrup character with that sweetness, with the floral elements.
You know, I'm betting this is going to be a hit in Japanese whiskey if we're just going off a taste. Like on a blind taste, it definitely tastes fresh and bright and young. There's not a lot of dense, dark wood flavors.
I am, the nose isn't anything amazing, anything to write home about. I think it sets you up, though. I think it lowers expectations. So by the time you get into the taste, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig that.
It is ever so slightly young tasting.
Yeah.
Like the sweetness, it doesn't feel like it's developed as far as it could go.
That is a slight mustiness I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But I think it's matured well enough to be bottled and be enjoyable in a lot of different
Yeah,
levels.
and if this is what they're starting with, I'm really interested to see what keeps happening.
Yeah, did you?
There's a peated one in their release.
Just real quick, I noticed whenever
Yeah.
you brought this over, seemed to be a lot of bubbles, more so than I typically see in a whiskey.
I spit in this one.
Oh, that's why it's so delicious.
Yeah.
It's all those memories I have.
It's all the taste and smell of Daniel. You know what I did realize after we...
That's called Hobbit Nectar.
I do actually smell kind of bad.
Do you?
I do.
It's par for the course.
No, what happened, I realized this morning, I was so tired this morning when I got up.
Yeah.
I got up, I turned on the shower water to get the heat going.
Yeah.
I brushed my teeth.
Did you abort?
And put on deodorant.
You didn't shower?
And then I got in the shower.
Oh.
And I showered after having put on deodorant.
So you locked in the funk with the deodorant, then you got under the water.
And then I washed it all off, and then I never put deodorant on because my brain said you've already done that.
Right.
So.
All right. Sammy Najera, what is your happiest childhood memory? Man.
Happiest memory? That's kind of a high climb.
You were
I
born-
tried to not read.
You were born an old man.
Yeah, I tried to not read your responses so that I could hear them for the first time.
I didn't answer that because it was.
You
like,
didn't?
I just
Okay.
I didn't have anything for it.
I was born an old man. I do have a really funny childhood memory. You want to hear?
Oh.
I think you'd appreciate this.
I think I do want. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, and I was about probably 6.
Yeah.
My mom's friend came over, and she's like, "Hey, Millie, I don't know if you know, but Daniel was out in the front yard pretending to be a dog." And my mom said, yeah, he does that all the time. And she said, yeah, but this time he's tied a rope around his neck. He's tied himself to the tree.
Yeah.
And he's barking at cars.
I mean,
And she was like, oh no, CPS.
how
do I explain this to protective services?
you were 6?
I was like 5 or 6.
I don't know. I don't know. That's too young for me to make a gimp joke.
This is like Fisher and Finn. This is like Fisher's age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Going back to this, the first half I really like. Where I think the age of it really becomes apparent is the finish.
Yes.
The finish leaves you.
And then when you
wanting.
come back to it, that's more dominant in the nose too.
Yeah, the finish leaves you a bit wanting there. My favorite childhood memory, I was probably, I don't know, like 12 or 13. I was on a broken jet ski with my cousin in the middle of a giant lake.
Like wouldn't run, just sitting and floating?
Well, like half the cylinders weren't working.
Ah.
It was just wildly underpowered. And it's kind of a small jet ski, and there's 2 of us on there. And there was Oklahoma has giant lakes.
Yeah.
There's a storm coming in, and it's kicking up some big waves. So we're trying to get up these big waves on like a barely. It's just riding that line of at any moment we could get tossed off, but we had just barely enough.
Come on!
Barely enough to keep it
Come
straight.
on!
And right. Yeah, and then out in the middle of this lake, there's another jet ski, 2 girls on it.
Oh yeah, there you
2
go.
girls on it. We just met in the middle of the lake, and couldn't do anything. It was like, hey, how you doing? Nothing, just chilling. They're like, a storm's coming in. It's like, we know.
And you let them go? You didn't ask for
what
a
are we
tow?
gonna do?
Ask for a tow or
They
something.
didn't have a rope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
But we got to be almost cool in the middle of the lake.
Because you showed up riding
during the storm.
dual on a jet ski. 2 dudes.
Yeah, 2 dudes. Spooning is what makes you cool.
Yeah, it turns out in Oklahoma.
Spooning. Your cousin, no less. That took a weird turn. Between
Oklahoma, where the wind comes rushing.
Jeremy Lindman, ever had any actual accidents filming shenanigans? Not really.
I know it doesn't look like it on camera, but no. We've never actually had a real accident.
Whenever stuff is like, it has the potential to get pretty sketch, I usually will try it on myself.
Or an outside environment.
Outside environment to make sure that nothing's going to like take off a digit or...
We've definitely destroyed some infrastructure unintentionally.
We just kick some leaves on it.
Just in general.
Kick some leaves on it.
Tables, but there's no harm to humans.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope they made this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And I hope they get some decent distribution. I hope they're keeping some in barrels to age it longer.
Yeah.
Here's to find stealing and
If
drinking.
you fight me, I fight for a friend.
Steal me, you steal your liver's heart.
And if you drink,
May you drink with us.